Tell him, McCluskey. Tell him what time it is.
Little Hen says it's time to rock and roll.
All you people are so scared of me.
Come quietly or there will be trouble.
Man, that's just me.
I'm Batman.
This is Sparta!
There is a tiger in the bathroom.
I'm an excellent driver.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Pop quiz, hotshot.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
I drew my sword and...
Whoosh! One swipe, his sword shattered, then chomp! Dad's leg was clean off. Down the monster's throat it went.
Oh, that's my favourite part.
Hello and welcome back to this week's Monday Movie Show, or if you're listening back in any way, shape or form, hello. We have only 3 films to review this week because it's a very, let's just say a week for releases of new movies, and they are
J.J. Abrams returns to Star Trek in his sequel Star Trek Into Darkness. You have a sort of dramatic thriller of sorts in Mud, and you have a comedy thriller in Standoff.
I would actually say Mud is more of a drama. It's not a thriller, it's a drama.
There are thriller elements as it goes on, but we won't go into that.
Yeah, we won't get into that. And we've also got the Blu-ray and DVD top 10, so we'll just kick off with that.
Okay, starting at number 10 with Doctor Who: The Ice Warriors.
Is this part of the TV series? Because I didn't recognise it. I'm guessing it's one of the episodes.
I think because it's this last year there was an episode with an ice warrior or something, the creature that was in a suit or something, and it referenced something from a previous series. So I don't know if this is because of that they've then released that story. So I'm guessing that's what it is. Because remember, Doctor Who used to be like a story was stretched out over 3 or 4 episodes at one time. Yeah. So that's what I think it is.
We need members from Following the Nerd, specifically Saxon and Mark, to actually be in the live chat to tell us, we're completely wrong and it's about this.
I hope that if I'm right, I want to hear from them and actually hear them go, yeah, you were right, you got it right, because I'm kind of amazed if I am.
Okay.
Well,
next.
Okay. Number 9 is A Place Beyond the Pines.
Yeah, it is one of those films where it's slightly too long. It's brilliantly acted. Unfortunately, it suffers from... The more the movie goes on, the weaker it gets, even though the middle section of the movie is the weakest part of the film. But that's not to say that... I'm losing my voice as well. That's not to say that the film is bad, because it's not. Like I said, the acting is fantastic and the storyline at times is brilliant. It is a really good film, but it does suffer from a weak middle and a bit of a formulaic ending.
Yeah, and it's the thing as well, I think, with that, was it not that it's uneven because you have more. Some characters have more time than others, which I thought was a bit off. A bit
Ryan Gosling, especially.
Yeah, well, he gets shortchanged really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 8 is Evil Dead,
which is a homage to the Sam Raimi's Evil Dead. Fede Alvarez has tried to do a horror film, bring it up to more standards these days. I'm glad he did practical effects rather than CGI, but it just fails on the tension. It has no tension in it whatsoever. Some nice gory inventive scenes, but that's all it is. It's just a showcase for how well practical effects are, rather than just being a film. It's like a show reel of Fede Alvarez going that, yes, in the future, if this studio, you want to give me money to do a horror movie, I can do practical effects like this is how I would do it, rather than it just being a film.
Yeah, it's not even just you saying that there's no scary parts in it. Me, who's like, a 5-year-old child hiding behind the couch each time there's something scary, this is not a scary film. It's not scary at all. And number 7 is The Jungle Book.
Yeah, it's a Disney re-release, and they're obsessed with re-releasing their old back catalogue onto Blu-ray so people can see it supposedly in its best light. Yeah, just buy the DVD and stick it in an upscaling DVD player or a Blu-ray player. You don't need the Blu-ray of it. It's a fantastic film anyway.
It's a fantastic film, but it's not even the best of the Disney films from back then either.
No.
It's not even near the best. And number 6 is Django Unchained.
We've said absolutely everything we can about Django Unchained. It's good, but Quentin Tarantino should not act anymore.
That's it. We've got plenty of time in this episode.
No, that's all we can say. We will probably end up getting comments and stuff going, we still hear the rundown of the charts. Why the hell did you take so long of reading through it? That's because we've only got 3 films to review this week. That's why.
At number 4 is The Vampire Diaries Complete Season 4.
You've missed number 5 because we haven't seen All Stars.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping you wouldn't see that.
But it still needs to be mentioned that it's in at number 5 and then number
really?
4. Yeah.
Okay.
Vampire Diaries season 4. I've never even seen a single episode of this.
No, I've seen bits and pieces when I channel hopped, and I didn't really stick on it. At number 3 is Despicable Me, still hanging in there.
Yay for the minions.
Bottom.
Yeah, no bottom in that one.
No
bottom in that one.
Number 2 is Oblivion.
Fantastic opening 30 minutes. It's just very disappointing after that.
I really loved it, and I loved as well. If you're curious to get the DVD or the Blu-ray, I don't know if the DVD has it or not. The Blu-ray looks absolutely amazing, and also has an isolated audio track in surround sound of the music from the film, which is an amazing soundtrack. And if you're not sure about buying it, but you like the music, then that is a reason to buy it.
Yeah, my favourite track on the soundtrack, by the way, is a track called Star Waves. I just love the way it builds up, and then in the middle you've got that epicness, and then it just it teeters out a little bit. I love that track.
A new entry, number 1 this week, Olympus Has Fallen.
Completely dumb movie. Really dumb. Not as bad as White House Down. That supposedly is like the epitome of dumbness.
Yeah.
But it is still a completely dumb movie. But it's an entertaining dumb movie. Unlike the films like Die Hard, the last Die Hard film, etc. It's entertaining. I think that's down to Gerard Butler. I think he liked it. Is.
Sorry.
I think he likes these kind of roles every now and again to do a film like this. And you look at 300. 300 is a spectacle to watch. It's beautiful to look at, but it is quite dumb. Yet Gerard Butler in it is really good. And in this film, it's really dumb, but Gerard Butler is really good.
I was having a discussion with someone earlier today mentioning 300. I would love to see someone do a modern day version of 300, present day with armies and just guns and stuff as well. I'd just love to see
in that style with that amount of slow mo.
Maybe not in that style with that amount of slow mo, but something like 300 present day with the armed forces of Sparta. I just think that would be interesting.
If you give it to Activision, they could do a yearly update of it. So, video game dig there. Yeah, right. We're going to an ad break, and after that, we'll have our first review of the night.
Say you want a podcast that's adequate but tries, where ham hock, bouncy ball and Dalek sex talk drivel about their lives, where Satan reads us his top 5 lists and robots read us the news about games, pop culture and internet. You better shoot through to iTunes. The things we say will please your ears in an impure way. The things we say. We are the Lolacost.
Whoa! Dr. Hawk!
We are the Lolacost, Season 4. Talking piffle about out on Spreaker and iTunes. Follow us at We Are the Lolacost with a letter R.
So, welcome back. Let's get into the first review of the night. And you can take as much time as you want. Not like 36 minutes, because that's all we've got left of the show. But you can take as much time as you want with it.
Well, if my throat wasn't bothering me so much, I would have tried to do it in like the style of William Shatner, which would have meant I would have taken about 4 times as long to do it.
Oh, God.
No. Star Trek Into Darkness, which is the sequel to J.J. Abrams' first Star Trek movie that he did. Also, this is directed by him, written by Roberto Orci and Alex Kurtzman. So thankfully, Damon Lindelof has nothing to do with this one.
Because he was involved with DZ? World War Z.
Yeah. The movie starts off with everything sort of as normal. You know, the crew are doing their everyday things. Kirk goes and does something where he breaks what is basically the most sacred rule of Star Trek, of Starfleet. He breaks the Prime Directive and interferes in an alien culture, and as yet sort of evolved fully alien culture, which results in him basically being fired as captain, getting the ship taken off of him, and being put in second place, first officer, second in command of the ship. At the same time, something happens in London where a terrorist blows up a building. The terrorist, played by Benedict Cumberbatch, who is one of Starfleet's finest sort of expert secret agents, sort of types, who is then turned against them, and the sort of resulting disaster that happens ends up that Kirk is then given orders to go and try and find him, capture him, and to actually kill him. Instead, though, what he does is he captures him, and they end up with a sort of a face-to-face thing where it seems that this character is not quite all that he appears. Here's a clip.
Let me explain what's happening here. You are a criminal. I watched you murder innocent men and women. I was authorized to end you. And the only reason why you are still alive is because I am allowing it. So shut your mouth.
Captain, you're gonna punch me again over and over till your arm weakens. Clearly you want to, so tell me. Why did you allow me to live?
We all make mistakes.
No. I surrendered to you because, despite your attempt to convince me otherwise, you seem to have a conscience, Mr. Kirk. If you did not, then it would be impossible for me to convince you of the truth. 23174611. Coordinates not far from Earth. If you want to know why I did what I did, go and take a look.
Give me one reason why I should listen to you.
I can give you 72. And they're on board your ship, Captain. They have been all along.
So, I'm going to start out basically saying I'm a big Star Trek fan. I've watched it most of my life. I know it all very well, all the original films, all the series, and I love Star Trek. I do think it's one of these major things that's basically helped the world and done all these things. I really like J.J. Abrams' first Star Trek film. I think that it does what Paramount have been trying to do for 25 years, which was make a science fiction epic that rivaled Star Wars. And then he's kind of gone and thrown it away with this movie, because he's just made a film that is really just a bit of a mess. The story doesn't really work. The characters are kind of sort of fades of themselves. They're not really all there doing what they do. I mean, probably the best one out of them is still Carl Urban playing Bones, but even he sort of gets shortchanged, because it seems that Abrams has decided to give more screen time to the villain than to giving screen time to the main characters, which is what is sort of the problem. There's no real characterization in these characters. The character of Spock gets more to do, but it still feels like we're getting shortchanged here. There's the inclusion of Klingons, which, as far as I can tell, is just purely because of the fact of we need to put something interesting here. Let's put the Klingons on, because, he just wanted to show Klingons. And then as well, if you know Star Trek as well as I, and quite a lot of other people do, there are things that will happen, especially as the movie goes on towards the end of the movie, that really kind of make you sit there and there's a pit in your stomach, because you're just going, you really had to go there. You couldn't do something else. And so for me, this is a movie that was it was full of potential, and they just completely threw it on the floor and stamped all over it and just completely threw it away. I really am kind of angry more than anything else that this is what it turned out to be, because did such a fine job with the first one. This one has been kind of geared a bit more towards people who aren't fans than the fans, and that for me is kind of insulting.
And well, I'm not as harsh with the film as you are.
I mean, I like it, but every time I watch it, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
It is a rare thing me saying that, isn't it? That I'm not going to be as harsh with a film as you are. It's normally the other way around. But I can see what Abrams is doing with the Star Trek films. I've said this with when I was on Following the Nerd and I reviewed it, that he's trying to open it up to as wider audience as he possibly can. And it's understandable that not only Abrams wanted to do that, but the studio wanted to do that, because Star Trek is always, and along with Star Wars as well, I think that maybe is one of the reasons why Abrams has been given the job for Star Wars, but it's always been seen as a geek film. It's always been seen as a nerdy kind of movie. And if you said that you used to watch Star Trek or you used to watch Star Wars, you get shouted at, you get bullied, etc., because it is that nerdy thing. And he's tried to open it up to the more wider audience to try and say, yeah, Star Trek is cool. The film itself is entertaining, and you can enjoy yourself if you go to see it. And that's what this movie is. Yeah, a lot of fans are really angry with the movie because it is not catering to their needs, and it's not. It's catering to a more wider audience, and he could have done a movie where it catered to their needs. Whether it had been as successful, that remains to be seen, because it might have garnered an audience, but not a bigger audience as it has done with this film itself. I enjoyed it. It is a popcorn film. As a Star Trek fan, I'm sort of like agreeing with you. There is that little Star Trek angel sitting on my shoulder going, what has Abrams done? He's gone and really messed up the series. But as a movie fan who's wanting the series to be seen by more and more people, I'm going, actually, yeah, it's an entertaining film. It flows quite well. The characters are a bit loose at times, but it's an entertaining movie.
Loose is a bit of a loose term, really.
Yeah, they're sort of like strings that haven't been tied together properly.
Yeah, no, you didn't get what I was doing there, no.
No.
Loose is a loose term. I don't know. Let's move on.
Yeah, I think I'll take about 5 minutes with this one.
Is that all?
Sit here and quiet. No, just gonna sit there and quiet for a little while because I need to use up as much time as possible.
Well, what we could like, play some music.
Yeah. Right. How's your day been?
No,
I'm
just tired. I'm sorry. I'm just tired. You're not going to get me into small talk because I'm sorry. I'm literally going to go to bed after the show.
Right, Mud. It's directed by Jeff Nichols, and it's I wouldn't say it stars Matthew McConaughey, but Matthew McConaughey is in the film itself, and it mainly centers around two boys: Ellis, a 14-year-old boy played by Ty Sheridan, and his friend Neckbone, which I love that name. It's such a strange name. Do you ever find out in the entirety of the film what his real name is?
I don't think that maybe. I think it gets mentioned, but not. It's like a throwaway line.
Yeah, but Neckbone is such an unusual name. And Ella sneaks out one night to go out with Neckbone in a boat to this island where they discovered this boat in a tree. And when they get to this island, they find that somebody is living in this boat, which is played by Matthew McConaughey. You don't find out his character until slightly later on in the movie, but he does play the character of Mud. And Ellis is sort of like inquisitive about it. He's wondering why he's there. And Neckbone, he's sort of like, no, we should not do anything to him. Ellis feels really sorry for him, so the next day he brings back some food. Here's a clip.
You boys, I was going to try run a trot line this afternoon. See where that got me. Green beans never taste so good.
Why don't you have that pistol?
Protection. You don't need to be afraid of me. I got two ways to protect myself out here. This shirt and this pistol. And there are fierce powers at work in the world, boys. Good, evil, poor luck, best luck. As men, we gotta take advantage where we can. Y'all coming?
So during the course of the film, Ellis becomes really good friends with Mud along with their Neckbone. They start to trust him even more and more and more. And then Mud decides to ask the boys if they could do a favour for him, if they could get a note to his girlfriend, Juniper, who's played by Reese Witherspoon. However, they are these sort of like, I wouldn't call them police, but they've got like a vigilante kind of hint to them who's looking for Mud because he did something which has caused him to go on the run. Now, the thing with the movie, that is the basic storyline of the film. There is more to it, but it shouldn't be given away. The thing with the movie is, the floor of the film is fantastic. It's like you're just watching a conversation between characters, between people. And it's such a natural movie. It's shot brilliantly. There isn't one shot which is out of place in the movie. The dialogue is fantastic. The acting, especially from I think Ty Sheridan, who plays Ellis, steals the show. And that's saying something considering the acting on board in this movie. You've got Michael Shannon, who crops up in the movie, who plays Neckbone's uncle. Even Reese Witherspoon, who she's not in the movie that much, but a character that she's got is a really good character. Neckbone is a fantastic character, and the relationship between both Neckbone and Ellis, and when you throw in Mud as well, is really well fleshed out. So it just flows brilliantly. It's shot fantastically. The acting is brilliant. It's just a really lovely, lovely movie in a sea of, again, big blockbuster movies where this summer is sort of like disappointed apart from, I would say, Pacific Rim in my opinion. But it's nice to have a movie like this where it just goes, we've got a simple storyline. We're not going to throw in loads of twists and turns and lots of plot points and stuff like that. Just enjoy it for the 2 hours that it's on. I could have watched it for double that. And you're just going to have a really entertaining time with the characters that I've given you. And that's exactly what has happened. It's a fantastic film.
I know we were talking about it before the show, and that you admitted to me that it's going to be in your top 10 as well, as I've said it's going to be in mine already as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's odd that you and I agree on films, and especially to this degree.
I don't want to fully give it away, but I think that by the end of the year, unless something special does come out, this will probably be our movie of the year.
Yeah, I have a suspicion it will be as well. And I'm not getting a lot of DVDs and Blu-rays at the moment, but I'm looking forward to this one coming out because I will definitely be getting it. I don't know if there's only going to be many extras on it, and I'm looking forward to this. I'm actually going to try and get this tomorrow now.
It's one of those films, though, where you don't actually care if there's any extras on it. If there's a nice making of documentary, that would be lovely to see.
That's what I kind of hope that there is. I hope that there's things like a documentary. I've got to check into it because it's honestly, it's all about the acting, all about the characters, all about the performances, and there's shots in it that are just oddly beautiful as well, but it's like shots of an island that's been ravaged by floodwaters and stuff, so it's weird.
Yeah, even looking at the areas where both Neckbone and Ellis live in, they're sort of like living like bayou kind of areas, areas where you wouldn't expect anybody to be living on, in like run-down shackled houses. Ellis's parents as well, there's a sort of like a disconnection between them. There's a problem between them, and you wouldn't expect those kind of shots to be beautiful. The last film that I watched, where it is set in the bayou, but it's shot beautifully, is Beasts of the Southern Wild, and there's elements of this movie which reminded me of the brilliance of Beasts of the Southern Wild, because that's a fantastic film. Also, Mud, I know you said it has more in common for me with Stand By Me, and I adore Stand By Me, but I think it has a lot more in common with Beasts of the Southern Wild.
Okay, that's curious, because I haven't seen that yet, so I'm going to have to check that out. It's one of those ones I do want to see, but I just haven't got around to it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go on to our last DVD release this week, because it's not been a big week. Standoff, which is also released originally, I think, in the States under the title Whole Lotta Soul.
That's an awful title.
Yeah. And it's Soul, S-O-L-E.
Oh, that's even worse.
Excuse me. It's directed by Terry George, who's also involved in the writing of the film. It stars Brendan Fraser as a guy named Joe Maguire, who is, at the start of the movie, you see him running away from a woman who's actually just stabbed him in the arm. Turns out the woman is actually his wife, and he's gone over to an island, sort of hide out, because of the fact that his father-in-law happens to be someone related to the mob. When he's over an island, there is also this story of a character named Jimbo, played by Martin McCann, who is kind of down on his luck. Borrowed some money from sort of a gangster, found himself in a kind of a shoddy situation, and then ended up that he basically can't pay back thousands that he owes him. So he ends up going to actually rob somewhere, which turns out that he's actually robbed the gangster that he owes, and so ends up sort of running along, meeting Joe and running into the shop where Joe's at, taking people hostage because the police see it and the police turn up. What happens is then that there is a standoff between him inside and the police outside. Things quite are not going well, and it starts off. Then you have the police coming in, including Cole Meany, who plays the lead detective, who phones them up and tries to engage them in negotiations. Here's a clip.
Who's that?
I don't know.
Answer it.
Okay.
Answer it.
Okay. Hello?
Is this Joe McGuire?
Yeah, who's this?
Detective Inspector Weller. All right, Joe. What's this all about?
Nothing.
You could do nothing just as well out here. Why don't you come on out, eh? Throw out the gun. Come out with your hands up.
No.
What is it you want, Joe? Just tell me what you want. And we'll see what we can work out. All you have to do is lift the phone.
What do you want?
Give me a minute. Wait a minute. Why was he asking you what you wanted?
So, the movie it's a bit of a weird one in that it's not a really big laugh out loud even comedy. It's not a big thriller. It's not a big action film. It's not really a big anything. It's not a big drama film. It's kind of a mesh of a lot of different genres. But it kind of does work. It's kind of a little weak in some areas because of this, but it starts out, there's bits in it where something happens and it makes you laugh. There's bits in it where something happens you kind of like, okay, wasn't expecting that. And there's kind of a little bit of a twist in the story as well to do with these characters. And it's kind of pleasant. It's not bad. It's not overly long because it's only an hour and a half long. It's I think it's only about 80 something minutes. It's not sort of dragged out. And the only thing I would say is that by the time you get to the end of the film, the situation in the film is resolved a little bit too cleanly for my liking. But other than that, it's kind of enjoyable. I didn't think it was like, oh, it's amazing, it's brilliant. I was like, oh, I'm watching this. This is good. I'm enjoying it. Okay, when's it going to get rubbish? And it never did. When was I going to get bored? I never did. And I was surprised that I enjoyed it. And I mean, some actors in there that I like. I mean, you've got Brendan Fraser, who's kind of disappeared a bit recently. But Cole Meany popping up again. I mean, I'm a fan of his. Martin McCann, I've not seen anything before, but he's perfectly good in this. And you also have in this David O'Hara, who a lot of people will recognise him from being sort of the shady gangster type in this. That's not a problem for him. So it's enjoyable. It's not outstanding, but it's definitely worth a rent.
Oh well, I don't think I'll actually see it myself. It just seems like one of those throwaway movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, as I say, it's not brilliant, but I was just like, it's probably, I was into it and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll see what this is like. And I watched it and I was like, yeah, you know what? That wasn't bad.
Oh well, before we wrap up the show, we'll have our TV movies of the week. We have to emphasise movies now.
Yeah, because we always end up picking more than one each, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I picked the couple that I picked, as well as one we need to give a mention to afterwards. I picked From Dusk Till Dawn, because if you haven't seen this, it's because I was talking with people during the week, because I'm at college, basically, and people haven't seen this. So, really, need to see this. It's like 10 years old. I won't give away what it is, but it's a film that has one of the biggest WTF moments in the middle of the film that you're like, you just what? Okay, and that alone makes it worth it. Also, another thing, you get to see Quentin Tarantino killed on film.
Oh, there's nothing better than that.
Yeah. Talking of Quentin Tarantino, the other film of my choice. Let's see how I did there. Yeah. That's Jackie Brown. And the two of them are on. From Dusk Till Dawn is on film for 11:20 p.m. Wednesday the 4th. Jackie Brown is on Thursday night the 5th on film for at 11:10. So similar times, Wednesday and Thursday this week.
My two choices: Insidious on Channel 4 on Saturday the 7th at 9 o'clock. That's so you can be all clued up when Insidious Chapter 2 comes out, which is next Friday the 13th. Because Insidious Chapter 2 follows on directly from the end of the first Insidious film. I liked Insidious. Even though you've got that Darth Maul-esque kind of character, I still thought it was a quirky kind of horror movie, and it worked, and there's a bit of humour in it as well, and so I like that film. And then completely on the opposite end of the spectrum is the network television premiere of Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. which is on Channel 4 on Sunday at 9 o'clock also. We've harked on how brilliant Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy is.
Yeah, it's just an acting masterclass. It really is.
It is. It picks all the best actors that the UK can offer and puts them in a movie. And we have got some of the best actors in this in the world, in this country, and it shows you their talent. It's directed by, I want to say Thomas Alfredson, but it's not.
Thomas. Is it?
It is directed by Thomas Alfredson, isn't it?
But it's Thomas Alfredson.
Yeah, the guy who did he did that vampire film. I can't remember what it's called. Let the Right One In. He did Let the Right One In.
The original.
So, yeah, because Let Me In is the American one.
Yeah,
it's directed by him, and it's a fantastic film.
Another film we're going to get mentioned to as well is the fact that Side by Side, which we did mention when it was shown the first time on Film 4, is a great documentary. Possibly the best documentary we've seen this year about digital film and celluloid film and the difference between them. And it's really good to see it as well. Keanu Reeves really interested in it and doing interviews. And if you think, oh, Keanu Reeves, I'm not interested in that, seriously, see it. It is the most animated you've ever seen him, and for good reason. Yeah,
and if you have Sky, one movie to avoid taking to. It has its premiere on Friday. Just avoid it. Please just do not watch it. Right, that's it for this week's show. You can find us on mondaymovieshow.co.uk, which is our website. I'm on Twitter at Cryptic Tadpole, so is Andy at EHDVD. The show's there as well at Monday Movie Show. You can find us on Facebook, on YouTube and iTunes. Leave a rating on iTunes as well. Make sure you check out Following the Nerd on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock. Check out their website, followingthenerd.com. Lolacost, which you had the trailer in here, they've got a break until October. You've got the Gamescast, which is on a Friday night. Just search for the Gamescast on Spreaker or follow them on Twitter at the same name. Menasha Geek, which just released an episode today, which is Al the Ball Gamer Dude. If I don't mention him each week, he's probably going to hurt me even more. So make sure you check out that show as well. The Sound Foundation, which is the charity we support, and From Page to Screen as well. Number 2, I did a special episode with Stuart last night about horror films. Could have gone on for hours and hours on end, but it didn't, which is probably a good thing for people who want to listen to it. So, movie of the week before we disappear.
For me, it's going to have to be The Way, Way Back. As much as I want to say Mud, because Mud is my favourite film of the year, but The Way, Way Back, just something, you see it in the cinema, because it's, you go and see this. I want your opinion on this. I want to know what you think.
I'm going to be cheeky and just the 2 films that I reviewed. If you want to see something in the cinema, you're next. If you want to watch something on DVD, then Mud.
It's been a good week, hasn't it? We normally get weeks where we have loads of rubbish.
Yeah, though it's sort of like not very many films out this week, it was a good week.
Yeah.
But we will be back same time next week, 7:30. Where what are we reviewing next week anyway?
We have Riddick and
Iron Man 3. On DVD.
Iron Man 3. And if I have a chance, I shall also see About Time as well.
Yeah, 21 and over is also out.
Yeah, and check out the website because coming up in the next couple of days on there, I will be putting up a review of Rush, which I'll be seeing tomorrow evening ahead of its release.
And so until next week, I'll play you out with a clip from a movie that's out in a couple of weeks' time called Runner Runner. So until then, goodbye.
Ivan! Block!
Did you get in a fight with your kid sister?
Funny guy. Where is he?
Rich, you were just a little too good looking for this racket.
Why'd you short him?
I didn't short him. It's an ongoing negotiation.
You got more than an ongoing negotiation. You have a problem.
Did he take the money?
How'd you know I'd even make it out of there alive? How did you know?
Richie, I mean, it's the gambling business in Costa Rica. Occasionally you get punched in the face.
You let me walk right into it, Ivan.
This is your job. You understand? You want a clear conscience, go start a charity. But if you want your own island, and your boss says you gotta go out there and take a beating, go out there, take it, come back to work, and say, do you need me to do it again? Because right now, I'm giving you the keys to the kingdom.